So today's episode was a lot of fun. I had actually two of my students, Tony and Dakota, who are out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the crazy thing that they're doing is buying homes for as little as $1,000. That's right, $1,000. I've seen them buy homes for, and you don't want to miss the stories of what it was like purchasing homes like this. They talk about what it's like scaling, and they also talk about how they actually started a fight club back in high school, and that's how they met and eventually became business partners. So you don't want to miss this. Now let's jump into the show. We all know that I love creating passive income through rental properties, but did you know that you can create passive income through owning an e-commerce store? My company, Lunar Ecom, can build and manage a store for you on Amazon or Walmart. We'll handle everything from starting the store, picking the products, and all the day-to-day operations. It's completely passive for you. If you'd like to learn how store owners are making thousands a month in passive income, head over and watch the case study at lunarecom.com. It will explain everything you need to know about the industry and why I'm so excited about it. So to see the case study, head over to lunarecom.com. One of the hardest parts about real estate investing is finding a good contractor. That's where Southwestern Custom Construction comes in. They've been doing remodels in Nevada and Arizona since 2006. As a fully licensed and bonded general contractor, they're able to help with any type of renovation, all the way from an entry-level fixer-upper to a custom luxury home. Southwestern Custom Construction specializes in working with investors. I've personally used them on many of my projects, so I know their team is legit. If you want to get a bid on a project, head over to customhomenow.com. Once again, that's customhomenow.com. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest.
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
Innovate.
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
And inspire. I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I've actually got two of my future flipper former students, now accountability coaches, also just real estate investors, crushing it with many rental units. They just told me they bought an office building too and a storage unit. But the most fascinating thing is they actually buy houses for $1,000, which is crazy. And these men are none other than Tony and Dakota. What's up, man? I don't even call you by your last name. It's just Tony and Dakota, dude.
Yep. We've been branding ourselves that way too, which is kind of funny. Like you know how things just like start to evolve and you're like, well, we were LTD Property Group. Everybody just knows us as Tony and Dakota, so might as well just let that
it
stick.
is what it is. So cool thing about you guys is obviously you guys are in a market that allows you to buy a house for $1,000. And you guys have full-heartedly embrace that, even though anytime anyone listens to me, I'm like, don't do that. Like,
Don't buy those houses.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's a waste of time. Don't do it.
We're not in Gary, so that's good. It's Gary, Indiana.
I've played baseball there. I know that place is scary.
That's the one.
Yeah. So we'll talk about your investments and your journey later on. But everyone, just so everyone knows, listening to this, Tony, right here on the left, has a knack for telling very good stories, but he doesn't really know when to cut them off. So if you guys hear me just cut him off, interrupt him, that's why. But anyways, so let's start with Dakota, because
That makes sense.
Let's start with Dakota. Dakota, dude, tell us a little bit how you got started on this journey, man.
Yeah. So first of all, I guess I started off in sales, and that kind of got us going. Tony reached out to me and was just like, hey, have you ever thought, or actually, I'm sorry, Logan was the one who actually reached out to me. Tony's the one who introduced me to all the books. So Tony was like, hey, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep. So that was the one book, and then
you can cut it. Yeah. Make sure you're like 6 inches from the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony, because you're like,
okay.
So just stay here. But you guys can look at me and we're just talking, but just keep your face next to the mic.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so Tony introduced me to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's actually what got me into the journey of actually learning about real estate, because mostly I was focused on only learning sales, and I was listening to like Grant Cardone and all that stuff. So I was more into like, self-development, but it was more on the sales side. And then once I started getting into the real estate stuff, Tony and I both learned about it. Tony learned about it for probably about 3 years. I learned about it for about 2. And
should have took action sooner.
Yeah, we should have took action a little bit sooner, but actually, it all started from a friend of mine named Logan. that we went to high school with reached out, said, hey, have you ever thought about flipping houses? I was like, yeah, I've been actually thinking about it for about 2 years now. And I was like, if I'm going to do it, Tony's got to be in it, because, you know, Tony's the one who introduced to it. And like, yeah, we were really good friends then. So I was like, dude, we got to be a part of it. So we all met up. Like, all right, Tony's, it was funny because we like wanted to do like this big business strategy. We're like, all right, what do we want to do? What do we do? Tony's like, all right, throw that out. We're not talking about that. Let's just get a Google number, and I'm buying banner signs right now because like all that other stuff is bullcrap. Like nobody actually does
I'm a
anything.
hyper analyst. Like I can think about stuff for way too long and never take action. And I was like, guys, if we make a business plan, we're not going to get started. So
Yeah.
We're going to spend 3 years on the business plan.
Yep. So that was the first time I've ever seen Tony just be like, nope, we're not going to think about it. We're just going to do it, which is like extremely rare. But yeah, we just got started. We bought some bandit signs and started getting calls. And
You want to hear something funny about business plans is, you know, I have all these businesses now. I've never had to create a business plan until I started my fund. Pineda Capital, you have to have a business plan with the SEC and like investors and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so what do you guys like want on this? So like they gave me I'm like, all right. Like, so that was the first business plan I've ever made.
that's awesome.
it's funny. So they give you the outline. You're like, all right, give me the outline
Yeah, I'm
of
like,
what you want.
Yeah, like what do you want to see? And they're like, this is what a typical fund's business plan looks like. I'm like, all right, you know, I'll insert my own things of how we're gonna be different. But yeah, so it's pretty funny.
Like, all right, Roham.
Yeah, Roham,
Fill
do
this
it.
in for me.
You know I delegated that. So during this time too, Dakota, you were a car salesman, correct?
Yes.
And you recently just quit your job as well.
Yep. Yeah. So I sold cars for about 6 years. And then I sold at Hyundai for a long time and did pretty well there. So I was salesperson of the year for 4 years in a row, had 33 months of salesperson of the month. So I did pretty well. I enjoyed it too. I really
Like, was
loved
that
it.
a consecutive streak?
Not all of it was consecutive. Almost. There was almost one entire year, but I took 2 weeks vacation one month, and so a guy
dude.
beat me by. I know, but no, I
You
think
can't be taking vacations.
You should see the number of plaques in his room, like
Yeah,
in
so
his office.
I think the longest streak I ever had was 16 months, but it wasn't in the entire year. It was like, you know, half the year at another time, but
But you know, at Future Flipper, we give awards every mastermind. So I don't know if you've ever won one. Have you won one yet?
we got one, and we weren't here for the one. That was
Okay.
the only one that we missed.
All right, so you got one award. You know, we'll see if you can get one this quarter here. I don't know what the awards are. Roham and the team, and they all picked them, so we'll see.
You guys have like a best podcast award or anything?
You know, well, Clint the closer, he had a pretty good podcast last quarter.
Snap. I'll say Backel Brothers too. I was like, dang, they had a good podcast.
Yeah, Boakley's had a good one. Yeah, so you know, you started, you join up with Tony, you join up with your partner Logan. You know, you're still selling cars, being a beast at that. You know, and I tell people this all the time: those who are good at selling always crush it at investing, because it's just you're selling a different thing. I mean, you're selling, you know, homeowners on, you know, doing a deal with you. You're selling lenders on funding you. You're selling, you know, contractors on giving you a good deal. Like, you negotiate everything in life.
Right.
Everything is sales, whether you know it or not. And so if you wonder why, you know, you're always like getting a bad deal or something, it's because you suck at sales. That's,
Right. Yeah, I'll say the nice thing that we tried to set up too was like how basically how car sales is. They do all the marketing for you, and then they just bring the customers in. So that's what Tony basically did, is like, all right, I'm gonna go bring all the customers to us. So
yeah, for sure. All right, Tony, I know you've been itching. Let me.
Oh, just to tell how I got into it?
Yeah, let me hear your story.
Well, I'm super fortunate to have Dakota as a friend. We've been friends now for like 13 years. We became friends when he was, how old were you?
14.
Yeah. So
14.
Dakota and I have been friends for a long time. Mostly he just wanted to learn how to fight, and I thought that I knew how to fight because I had a fight club at my house.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So
his
it-
got shut down. So then I opened one up.
Yeah, we were like fighting on city property by Dakota's house, posting
back
videos
then-
on YouTube, which was not a good.
Did you even know like the movie Fight Club back then, or you just were fighting?
I never watched the entire thing, but people are like, "Hey man, you're talking about Fight Club too much. That's why you're getting shut down."
And
So-
then you're posting fights on YouTube.
Yeah. And then they were getting taken down because parents were going on there like, "Hey, my kid's only 16. They agreed to get punched in the face by you, but they're not legally allowed to." So then the cops showed up at my house and were like, "Don't do that again. We don't want to have to do something about it."
What the heck? Okay.
So-
every time I hear a story from you, I'm just like,
Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Like,
Tell
we only have an hour, Ryan.
tell him the story about my backyard.
Okay, well, there was a day when Dakota was showing somebody a move, accidentally put a knee in the guy's teeth and knocked out his forefront teeth.
dang.
And then later on that same
3
day,
hours later,
I dislocated somebody's knee.
popped their knee out of place, and the ambulance had to get called.
So shortly after that, we went from backyard, not sanctioned, unprotected fighting to like, okay, I guess I should fight in the cage and Dakota should box.
No, actually, what we did was we moved it to the empty lot right next to my dad's backyard because my dad got his insurance, like they came out to
Homeowners
the
insurance, yeah.
So like, all right, let's go to this empty lot next to my house now instead of my back house, and then we
Let's
did
make
that.
this other guy liable.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly.
So
what we
that's how
did.
Dakota and I became friends. And then I was just lucky enough that Dakota's really loyal to his friends, like he cares, and he was just like, hey man, like he was trying to figure out why his 401k was only going to allow him to retire after like 35 to 40 years of putting money back and barely making, 7% on average. And I was trying to explain it to him, and he's like, yeah, that sucks. I don't want to do that. I want to be retired in like 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, the 401k ain't the way.
No.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like 59 and a half. Like that's when we're supposed to retire. I was like, yeah, that doesn't exactly work. So
I
was
went
like, I'm gonna risk
from
it all.
college to AmeriCorps to job to job to job to job to job, just hating every single job that I was in, not having very much self-confidence or self-esteem or confidence in my ability to sell. Like I've come a long way as far as actually being able to sell now. So I might not have been able to get the same deal that Dakota would have got if I was going to go close the deal, but I'm more confident now and I have a lot more self-esteem. So I started to build that after we started the company, and Dakota trusted me, and like I actually got to leave the job just over broke every single time.
Yeah.
Like no purpose, no vision, no hope for the future, no feeling of freedom or like being able to accomplish freedom and do what I want.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible when you feel like you're stuck in a situation and you hate it when people are telling you what to do, and you feel like if you had that like freedom to choose, that you would be able to figure out how to make money some other way and like live the life you actually want.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys for sure. So tell me a little bit about, what happened next. I mean, you guys scrapped the business plan. You just go lay bandit signs, I assume.
Yeah.
Like what happens?
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy actually. So we put up bandit signs, and Amanda Perez, I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't know.
So apparently she's a big singer from Fort Wayne, and we did not know that she was from Fort Wayne or anything. And
She's got like 10 million views on one of her
Yeah,
songs. So
songs.
she's like a
Oh,
gospel
Oh, okay.
singer.
Yeah. And so it was her cousin that was selling the house, and she was just like there, and then she was showing us videos. And so, yeah, we met a famous person the first time that we ever were, going to buy a house. So
That's funny.
we bought that house, and basically,
That was our first deal. We wholetailed that one. We had to go in 3 ways. So all the business partners had to put in $7,000 each, or wait, it was $9,000, $9,000 each, because it was a
$27,000.
whole $27,000, which was like the $9,000
money.
was a crap ton of money to me.
Yeah.
And I had a credit card that had a $10,000 limit, so I started doing this thing called manufactured spending to come up with the money.
I know that well.
did you?
Yeah, that's how I got started.
That's awesome. You did manufactured spending?
I maxed out my credit cards for $50K. I did it in a variety of ways, which I'm not willing to discuss on the podcast. But I did it, and I got the $50K. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I got 2,000 ready, and I got back and I put it in my bank account, and then I started talking to my now ex-wife, but at the time it was my wife, and I was just like, man, what if this doesn't work? Like what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right idea. And so I messaged the group chat with Dakota and Logan, and I'm like, hey guys, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I'm sorry. I think I'm like gonna have to.
Yeah. So I messaged. I'm like, Tony, shut up. Do not tell Logan this. So we got to go back just a little bit and give some more context. So on our first deals that we were trying to get, we went to the sheriff's sale, and what we were planning to do was I was going to front all the money, pull out from my home equity line of credit or lines of credit or something, and then was going to pull out the money, got all the money out, and like had it in a cashier's check because we had to have it ready. So then I saw that money come out of the account, and then I was going to front all the money for the business, and then they were going to help on the rehab with the credit cards.
Got it.
So I was like, Tony, do not tell Logan that I'm going to do this. Otherwise, he's going to ask me for the money too. But I just told Tony, I was like, dude, I'll front you the 7. So like, cause Tony was like, all right, guys, it was like 5 days before closing. Tony's like, I'm freaking out. I can't pull out anymore on my credit card. I'm out, guys. I'm out. I'm done with the business. You guys can go on without me. And I was like, dude, don't freaking tell Logan, but I'll give you the money, like, you know, friend to friend.
Yeah.
And so I'll front the money, and then you just pay me back whenever we flip it.
Yeah.
And so then, so I had 15 in the deal. Tony had 2, and then Logan had 9.
And
so.
Tony got a fair share, even though he only had 2 in the deal.
Yeah.
He got equal share.
I'm
Correct.
super lucky to have a friend like this. I'm super lucky. I would have been out of the company.
Yeah. Well, you know, you guys probably broke each other's noses before and stuff too, so you've been through a lot.
Yeah, actually, we have punched each other a lot.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was all out of sport, though. We've never actually fought we've never fought when we were angry.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we always fight whenever we were just like sparring and stuff. Tony hits pretty hard, but I was pretty good at dodging, so it all works out.
I know. I've been thinking about, so fun fact, I've never actually been in a fight.
Wow.
I've always been just this dude. I'm like, if somebody makes me mad, I'm like, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah,
it just isn't worth it.
Right.
And then, nor am I out there like antagonizing people, like, just causing drama. But now I'm seeing all these YouTubers box and stuff, and I'm like, dude, at some point.
Dakota and I talked about going live, just being like, we're fighting for, 1% of the company, the decision-making power or something like that, just for them to be like, hey, we're 50-50 partners, but we're having a...
Someone's going to have majority control.
Match.
That'd be so funny. Dude, I'd love to see you box.
Dude, if somebody pays me enough, I'll do it.
I bet you'd be good.
Give yourself 6 months, though. Don't just be like,
no.
I'm going to do 6 weeks and then jump in.
Here's what's going to happen is I'm going to be like, all right, okay, in 2 years, I'll be big enough where, people will actually pay me to box. Right now, nobody's going to pay me to box. But I start training now. In 2 years, I'll be like, oh, you guys want me to box? I've never done it. All right, I guess I'll do it. Just come out with fire.
Hey,
That'd
Bob,
be awesome.
Ryan's here finding the range. Looks like you already hit him with an uppercut. And
So we
this
might have,
YouTuber knows how to fight.
he said he was an amateur. He's never done, like, he just started training, I thought. So anyway, okay, back on topic, guys. Back on topic. So you guys get this house. I should say Dakota gets this house, and you're in it for $27,000. What you wholesale it. What'd you guys make?
Yeah, so looking back now, we should have kept it as a rental, but we want to keep everything as a rental, honestly. But so we listed it for like, I don't know, $55,000 or something like that. And because Logan had his license at the time, so like, all right, let's just list it. They put it under contract. I think we accepted an offer like, I don't know, 45.
It was
40.
It was 40.
It was 40. Okay.
And then it only appraised for 36.
Yeah,
And they
which
used
is
some bull crap
dude.
Yeah.
appraisals.
So you end up selling it. You made like $7,000.
That's not even the whole story, actually. So I was just like, all right, screw them. We're not selling it. Like they said they wanted
We're
to
keeping it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, they said 40? No. We're not doing that unless we get the 40, so they got to come up with a difference. And then, like, the funny thing is, Tony and Logan were talking. They're like, nah, we want our money back.
Like, come on, man, let's just get a small win.
Yeah.
Like, it was real risky.
But I
We're
couldn't-
super scared.
30,
Like, let's just-
27,000, dude. The
But
risk
then
is too
Yes,
much.
Dakota's
exactly.
gotta
And I
keep-
couldn't tell Logan. I couldn't be like, yo, dude, like, I got the most money in this. We're getting the maximum amount of money.
Right.
So I couldn't do that. So I was like, at first I said no, and I was pretty firm on it. And then I was like, I mean, I guess it is a small win, and everybody wants their money back. Whatever, we'll just do it. So then we ended up we told them no, and then 2 days later we said, okay, we'll do it.
You came crawling back.
Yeah. Like, all right, we'll do it.
We guys still get at 36?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, I've seen that story before. Okay, so you guys end up doing that first deal. Obviously, creates momentum, shows proof of concept to you guys, right?
Yeah.
The small wins are always will lead to bigger wins. So, obviously there's no third partner with you guys today. So, how's the company progress from there?
Yeah, so I would say the next deal we did after that, we bought 3 properties all at the same time, 3 rentals. One of them, actually none of them had a renter in there. So we were just, all right, boom, we got 3 houses. Now we got to figure out how to clean them out, rehab them, and then get a renter in there all at the same time. In that process, Logan started gaming, And
it wasn't
streaming.
fun. Those rentals were not great. They were not great
They were
rentals.
rough. In the
It
hood.
was not fun. We were still trying to find contractors, figure out how to fix the problems, that sort of thing. And that's where we lost Logan. Was like, it wasn't.
He's like, I don't
fun.
want to do
It wasn't
this anymore.
fun
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, not just that, but he also was having fun gaming, and like he was seeing success quick because he got sponsored by Facebook. He wasn't sponsored at the time, but Facebook was pushing up their algorithms and like helping him out because he's a new streamer, and they were still trying to get theirs off. So he was getting a lot of help with that, and he saw like, dude, like I think I can make some serious money here. So yeah, those 3 we bought for I think like 20. One was 18, one was 20, another one was 20,000. So we bought them all like decently cheap.
Yeah.
We put like $5,000 each into them, and then in the middle of us doing all that hard, nasty work,
Logan didn't know what was going on.
Logan didn't even know that we were getting them rented
He
out.
didn't know we had a
so-
renter. And
He just was like gaming,
yeah,
Yep.
just playing Fortnite.
Yeah, he was. He was killing it too. Dude.
like 10 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
he was on it,
Yeah.
like building that brand, like
Yeah.
building himself, building that brand, Facebook partner, making the money.
So you guys end up, you know,
Yeah, we're just like, all right, well, we kept asking for a Home Depot card to get this thing figured out because he had it under our name or something. We're like, can you switch this over? He's like, yep. And we asked him probably literally 10 times. I'm not even exaggerating. Like probably literally 10. And we're like, all right, dude.
He
I'm
never
sorry.
he never said like, no guys, I'm not doing that. He was like, yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'll get it done.
Yeah.
I'll get it back. We're still having problems with it, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we are. We are to this day.
We
still
can't
having
get a
issues
new
with
Home
it.
Depot credit card. They're like, you already had one.
Yep.
we're like, where is it?
Exactly. But yeah, so then we're like, all right, man, like, so we made an agreement up front, like, hey, if we ever go to buy out, we're just going to split the profits from the flip. So we bought them out. It was $4,000. And then Tony and I kind of built it from there.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. But you guys were telling me earlier, he's crushing it now.
Yeah. I mean, he was crushing it then. He's crushing it now. And yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I still.
There's
he's
no
a good
hard
friend.
feelings.
No.
He's
No,
awesome.
he wants to do some business now and get a new build. So it's not like we're never going to do something with him again. We might actually do something separate, but obviously now it doesn't make sense to let him come back in.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll be a lender or something too.
Yeah,
at this point.
exactly.
So that's super cool. So, you guys start your journey together now, and you guys are buying rentals, and that was pretty much all you guys want to do was just stack rentals as
Yes.
fast as possible.
Wholesale the best and wholesale the rest. Keep the best, wholesale the rest.
Good motto.
Yeah.
So I remember that was probably around the time I met you guys. Like, tell me, like, just what your thought process was at this point.
When we met you,
Yeah, just like at that point, I think you maybe had how many, like 15?
somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah. And I remember we had a conversation, and I was like, dude, you guys need to start flipping some of these things. You guys need to start doing bigger deals. Like, it's going to be hard to, like, buy a little deal, like, all the time.
Yeah.
And, just like what was – because I know you guys are huge on self-development too. So you guys were always buying, like you said, Cardone's programs, this program.
Yeah.
And I remember you were like, well, why should I go into your program? I was like, because you ain't doing the things I'm like telling you to do. Like, and this is not just about sales. This is about like strategy and different things. Because I think you hadn't really done any real estate stuff. It was always sales and personal development. So like, what was your thought process from there, and like, how have you grown since then?
Well, there was another peer of ours who was part of the Real Estate Investors Association in our town, and he had reached out and gotten a coach. And then Dakota was seeing you on Instagram, was like, "Hey, have you checked out Ryan Pineda?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, have you checked out Ryan Pineda?" I'm like, "Man, I'll like go look at some of his." Like, "No, you need to like read this guy's book." So I read your book. Dakota
showed
was
the course.
like on your Instagram all the time, and he was like, "I think I'm gonna call him. I think let's just find out like if they'll coach. Like, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you don't know until you get with a coach."
Yeah.
And then since we joined your program, we found out what we didn't know. It's just like the main focus of our business should be scaling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so the reason that I really wanted to be a part of it was more for the process, or like, figuring out how to automate almost everything and actually figure that part out. Because like Tony and I are more like, just work really hard and just get stuff done. But then like we're getting to a point where like, I was a full-time car salesman. Tony's like running out of time. Like, dude, we don't have enough time. Like, we got to figure out processes and stuff. And like, I always thought that like, dude, this guy's mastered the process. And so I was like, all right, let's learn from him. And then also we want to eventually, have some courses and stuff. So I'm like, all right, this guy's got a course. He's already got that. He can teach us basically everything that we want to go for the next 5 years. This guy's done it. So that's what we're like, all right, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. No, I love it. And you guys have been so cool on the calls with, just starting out as, just being students of the program, and now, holding accountability groups as accountability coaches. And, you've talked to the rookies, and they loved having you on, Tony.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you get any feedback?
Was it the presentation?
I wasn't there. I didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah,
I just heard great things.
It might have just been like, I will explain everything in detail from the very, the what you need to do if the first step goes wrong.
Yeah.
I have the list
Yeah.
of things you need to know. So when I got on, I was just like, all right, guys, I only have an hour. So I'm going to teach you absolutely everything that I possibly can in an hour, and I'll send you the PDF afterwards in case you were lost during it.
Yeah. No, I love that, dude. It's been great having you guys. And I want to talk now about one of the big things I've always been telling you guys, hey, how do we get you guys into bigger deals instead of buying these, $1,000 homes? How do we start getting into some bigger deals, or buying a bunch of $1,000 homes all at once, Yeah. So before we get into that, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to invest in real estate, but you didn't have the time to find deals yourself? That's where Fundrise comes in. Fundrise is a crowdfunding platform that has transacted over $5 billion in real estate and has over 150,000 active investors. While many funds, like my own, require accredited investors, Fundrise allows anyone to invest with as little as $500. If you'd like to learn more, check out fundrise.com. Once again, that's fundrise.com. One of the best ways to get off-market real estate deals is through cold calling. And if you want to reach as many people as fast as possible, then you need Batch Dialer. With their predictive dialing technology and built-in CRM, Batch Dialer is one of the top dialers in the industry. You can switch between single or multi-line dialing, as well as do voicemail drops and call recordings. And for being a listener of The Ryan Pineda Show, you'll get a 7-day free trial. Just go to batchdialer.com/Ryan. Once again, that's batchdialer.com/Ryan. Now, back to the show. All right, so tell me about the scaling sense. You guys, obviously, we kind of teased it in the beginning. You just bought a storage unit, you bought an office building, and what's the strategy now?
I would say, so whenever Tony went full-time, that was when we really started getting scaling, because that was when we got consistent with everything.
Our marketing consistent.
Yes. And then I'm the kind of person who, as stuff comes in, I get stuff handled no matter what. You can just keep throwing it
chaos.
At me. Yeah.
Dakota figures out. I mean, in that way, Dakota's more of an integrator than me, but he still has a vision too.
Yeah.
We kind of share the visionary role, actually.
But
I see that. Yeah.
I'll say, but a lot of times, Tony just goes and gets a bunch of leads and stuff, and I have to handle them, because for me it's a responsibility. If somebody calls and asks for help, I have to help them. I just kind of in me. And then also I'm very organized, and so I got to organize all this stuff. So when Tony went full time, I'm selling cars, and I have to handle all these leads as they're coming in, have it all organized and stuff. And that's where we started to scale.
But I definitely was just talking to Dakota, I feel like we took a step back for just half a second to create some systems and hire some folks, and now we've created some more overhead, so now we have the responsibility to generate more income and create more deals and that sort of thing.
Right.
So Dakota and I just before we get on the podcast, is oh, let's tell them our sunshine and rainbows, and then we just had 2 or 3 things go wrong right in a row. Oh man, this is a mess. Dude, I can't wait to get back home and freaking figure out how to fix it.
You know what's funny is literally just business is a constant battle of just always patching problems.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to talk about that at the mastermind tomorrow a little bit. Just because it's the portrayal is oh, everything is good, you're making money. Yeah, you are making money, but every day-to-day thing that goes along with making money is a problem, and that's why you make money. And I mean, it's business. The good thing is, as you build up leaders in your company, you don't hear about those problems.
Right.
I don't remember the last break-in I heard about, the last thing that didn't appraise, it doesn't ever reach me.
Wow.
Because somebody else just takes care of it, it's done, whatever. If something reaches me, unfortunately, then it's always a big problem. So I literally only deal with big problems.
Yep.
But if I had to hear about every little problem that happened, oh my gosh, my head would explode.
Yeah, you'd be stressed.
Yeah. So they know to protect my brain.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, we stress out a lot.
I mean, I think our next step too, the two things that I've been focusing on since day one has been finding deals and finding money. And so I've been working on how I can find private money lenders and still follow SEC regulations and not break into that yet.
Right.
I don't know if we're ready to go to the syndication route or anything like that yet.
Yeah, actually,
Or
there's a
register
couple
with
of
the SEC. I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys out there, Eric and Max. So for those listening, you can't see what we're saying, but today is our first day of our mastermind for the Future Flipper All-Stars. That's the high-level program. If you guys want to learn more about it, you can go to futureflipper.com. But we have people that are trying to do that's the beauty of the group is everyone is doing some different form of real estate. We're not all like, oh, we have to only flip. You're buying these cheap houses. I'm out here doing a bunch of different things. Eric and Max want to talk about starting a fund, which now you're saying too. And I actually just started my fund, so we can all mastermind about that these next 2 days and figure out if it's actually right for you or not. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. So I would say with talking about raising money, there's tons of gray area, as there is with all of real estate.
Yep.
And so
Bandit signs.
Yeah, dude, everything's gray area. Literally cold calling to, construction to raising money to negotiating. There's just red tape everywhere. So with raising money, the only advice I would give to you guys is don't ever publicly say, I am giving, 10% interest and, do you want to invest with me? You can't
Something
do that.
safe.
Yeah, something safe. This is guaranteed. I can't even say that.
Right.
And I've gone through the SEC stuff.
Even though it probably is.
Well, So all I can say is, hey, here's our targeted returns for the fund. You have to be accredited to invest with us in the fund. I can't just take anybody's money. And, we're going to do our best to hit the targeted returns. Now, granted, for me, do I think I'm going to beat the targeted returns? Well, I'm always the optimist. I think I'm going to crush what we're going to say we're going to do.
Yep.
But legally, I can't box myself into saying, we're going to get 30, 50, 100% returns. And people are like, dude, you didn't get it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm in jail.
Oh my gosh.
No, but that's, and we'll talk about that later. That is the risk of the fund is now you could go to jail for doing or saying the wrong things.
Wow.
Promising things that, aren't true.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't want to start a fund.
Yeah. Maybe not a fund.
Well, then the only other thing I can think of scaling-wise is finding deals.
And you could find deals. And so what I was just saying with raising money that way is you can't just go out there and say, I want to do this. But what you can do is play in the gray area and just say, look, you want to partner with us on deals? Hit me up. And that's it. Here's the deal we did. We made, $30,000. We need more people to help us do deals like this. If you want to partner up with us on deals, do that.
Yep.
And I've talked to my lawyer about, phrasing. And even for me, I asked him, I go, hey, what happens if I get a non-accredited investor? And he's like, here are things that you can do with them. Here are things you can't do with them. So, yeah. So don't think you can't go out and get money. It's just how you do it. It's different.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we actually got our private money guy from Facebook. Just going Facebook Live. He watched us for over a year, and then he's like,
we did a deal with one of his friends, and we really didn't need to include the guy in this flip, but we were just like, we don't have a third contractor crew. We were already working on 2 projects. We were like, why don't you just do the rehab since we found the deal? You do the rehab. We'll list it and take a commission, and then we'll split the profits on the flip.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, man. So he did it, and then right after that, he was like, my friend John has been watching you guys. you guys need to go. You need to go talk to him.
Yeah.
Dude, you never know who's watching. It's funny. I've gotten the majority of our funding from social media, just from people watching me, right?
Yep.
I was doing the workshop last week, and we had a kid in there, young kid, like I don't remember how old he is, like low 20s. And during the workshop, I gave like a speech on social media and raising money and all this stuff. And I go, dude, the best way to raise money is just to showcase what you're doing. Like if you just show people, these flips, these deals, and you're talking about how much you make. And it was something that I never wanted to do initially when I started out, because I'm like, I don't want to tell people how much I'm making, and I want to be humble and all this. I don't want people in my business.
Right.
But then I realized that I was losing money by not doing that and not growing my business. So I just started just being open about it. I'm like, this is what it is. And more people wanted to invest with me. And then so I tell this story, and I give some things that they can do. And so the kid goes and posts a pic of us at the workshop. I take a picture with all of them, and he messages me. He's like, dude, I posted a picture of you talking, I was just talking about the workshop and how, I'm gonna flip houses. He's like, and I already got a private lender for $200,000 because he watches your YouTube and he wants to get in on it.
Wow.
I was like, well,
What's my cut?
yeah, I'm like, why doesn't he want to invest with me? Like, what's the deal? There's Pineda Capital, right? But no, it was like, I'm like, that's great. Like, freaking, you're doing exactly what I said. And just like, leverage everything, whether it's me, you paid a lot of money to be here. Like, I'm totally cool with you using that as content. And same thing with everyone here today at the mastermind. Like, dude, leverage being here. Because if people see that and they're like, dude, they're not only doing deals, but they're investing in themselves to do more deals, and get better and network.
That's something that Dakota and I talked about too, because what you hit on was like a great lesson about giving, and like when are you a giver and when are you not a giver. And what we've been trying to figure out is like, how can we create the course and not create a bunch of competition? But that's also like us lacking an abundance mentality where like there's enough deals out there for everybody. This is actually going to help us. And in the process, it's like anytime you don't share your gifts, anytime you don't try to help people, anytime you don't put yourself out there or take a picture of the check and post it, you're actually taking from people. You're holding them back from getting what they want.
Yeah, because you just don't know if that's going to inspire somebody to do something, otherwise. I mean, look, what the 3 mission statements of this podcast are: invest, innovate, and inspire. And I mean, obviously we talk a lot about investing, and for me, innovation is always doing new things that we've never done before. I'm always like, man, what's next? Like, I want to keep pushing the envelope.
You don't even think about it. You just do it.
I just do it, dude. I'm like, that's a good idea. Like, let's roll with it and see what happens. But with Inspire, that's the one thing a lot of people have told me over the years, like, dude, what you're doing is so inspiring. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah. I'm just like doing my stuff. I don't know that I'm doing that. And to hear it makes me want to do it more. And then also, I've been inspired by so many other people that have like changed my path because I see they're doing something, like, oh, dang, like I could do that. And so you don't really know who you're impacting.
Yeah, so you definitely inspired us to actually like let people share a lot more, because I remember that was a conversation that you had with us, like, hey, you guys need to share a little bit more, because we're like very similar. We're like, dude, we don't want to tell people or show them checks and all that stuff. And so that definitely helped us a lot, because that helped us to find our private money lender and to show other people like, hey, like we are like actually out here doing this stuff, because a lot of times you just like don't want to share.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. So you guys are in Fort Wayne, right?
Yep.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've played baseball there. I've played baseball in Gary.
Same amount of stuff's going on.
Every piece of crap town you can think of, I've played it.
Hey, Fort Wayne's getting better. We got like a little section that's like, like the all I can think of is South Park, Soda Se Pa apartments. like we got one of those areas where it's like, man,
that place is nice.
Rents
but everywhere
there
else
are a whole $1,000. Like
Soda Sopa. So with Gary, well, ironically on the baseball side, they're both minor league teams. Even though the towns are very poor, the stadiums are super nice.
Yeah.
In Gary?
The Gary Stadium is nice. Fort Wayne is super nice too.
Well, Fort Wayne's not poor, is it?
Well, you live in a house that is like a regular house here, you know.
And what's your house?
Your house is nice.
It's worth like 230 max.
Yeah, that's pretty low income.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
Because you have like a sick house in Fort Wayne.
Dude, it's sick. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Anyways, that's why I'm saying that. So
I would say the funny thing is too, like we don't only own $1,000 houses. By the way. I gotta say that too.
He's trying to bring the conversation back to the teaser in the beginning of the
Okay, I was
podcast.
clickbait, guys, clickbait.
we have some more expensive houses. We do get into higher end stuff
Like
too.
50K.
Yeah, we get into the 50,000,
Yeah,
60.
Yeah, the high end
A
stuff.
whole $50K, which is like what Ryan negotiates on a deal, and the other person's like, okay, we'll do $750 instead of $800.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Dakota's like, I don't think we can do 75, but we'll do 72.5. Do we have a deal?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we actually
Well,
did that.
That's
no.
an exact example.
No, tell me the other story of how you were negotiating like a $4,000 house, and you guys are haggling over like $500.
I got one.
Which one?
Hamilton.
I was saying,
no.
which one?
No, Hamilton. Do Hamilton. We get there. This guy had like moved these tenants out. There was some like lathe and like, you know, stuff had fallen off the ceiling, so they kind of messed some stuff up. And he thought that his property was like worth less than what it was when he bought it 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So he had bought it for $22,000, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if we should start low. I don't know. I don't want to offend the guy. Like I was mentally thinking that. I didn't voice it to Dakota. We walked the property. It was a nice house in a place that's considered like the rough part of town.
Right.
And we walk it, and we start negotiating. Dakota's talking to the guy, and he's like, yeah, so, you know, I think we probably, you know, just based on your numbers, a $500 rent, if I do the math backwards and show you where we're trying to be, he like showed him on his phone calculator. He was like, these are our numbers, and this is what it comes out to, about 16.
We're trying to make a 20 cap in the rougher areas.
So Dakota's saying 16,000, and the guy's like, okay, well, I got a landscaper who I need to let know about this because he wanted to buy it. And Dakota's like, I understand. Do you think that he has the money? He's like, no, I don't really think he does. Okay. And then what did you say after that?
I just said, well, here, I can promise you this, that we do have the money ready to go on it. What would it take? That way we can just do it now and you don't have to talk to him. If we did 17, can we make it happen right now? He's like, yeah. I was like, cool. Tony, write it up. I got to go back to work.
That was the funniest part about it, too, is when you first joined, you're like, yeah, I still sell cars. You know, here's our role. I was like, so what are your guys' roles? And you're like, well, I set appointments and Dakota goes on them. I'm like, doesn't Dakota have a job? How does he go on appointments? You're like, oh, well, yeah, he just leaves and he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's still car salesman of
And
the
he
year.
still gets more done than all of the other car salesmen that are there because his closing ratio is so high and he doesn't mess around when he's at work.
Yeah.
Towards the end, it did start to go down, though. Yeah, so that was when I decided, you know, the bank stopped lending as much, and then like my sales started going down. I was still doing well, like I was like still probably in like the top like 3 to 5, but like my heart just wasn't in it anymore, and it was hard for me to get excited over a couple $100 commission. So
Right.
it was just like, all right, like we got a lot more, you know, fires to put out.
Yeah.
But that was one deal. I got another deal. We bought this house for $3,000. It was one of our first flips that we ever bought. So we walk into this property, or actually, let me go back. It was a bandit sign call. She called, and I was like, I know that area, and based on what you're saying, it has a hole in the roof. It's got this, it's got that. We're going to be $10,000 or below. If you're not okay with that, I'm not even going to come take a look at it. She's like, no, I mean, that sounds reasonable. I'm like, all right, cool. We go take a look at it. It was so freezing that the pipes burst. And so there's water coming from the ceiling. It looked like Titanic. Like there's water everywhere, just
There was
flowing
water
out of the
coming through a
house.
ceiling light, and she came out. She was freaking out. She opened the front door, opened the side door. Water's running out the side door, running out the front door. And she came out and she was like, can you please help me? I don't know what I'm going to do. And like she had already moved on to an apartment. So this was her secondary house at this point. Like she already lived somewhere else.
Right.
And she was just like, there was 1.5 feet of water in the basement, and Dakota, I was like, all right, let's leave.
Dude,
We don't want this.
yeah,
at any price.
Tony's like, yeah, this isn't a deal. I'm like, dude, we just ran into a grand slam of a deal. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath. Like, it was not in a good area, but still. Like, and I was like, dude, this is grand
Dakota
slam.
knew what I didn't know, which was that he was going to be able to talk her down at that point.
But you know what's funny is, you know how people that do the room rentals and stuff, they're like, yeah, I could rent it for like, you know, $300 a room, $400 a room, right? You guys are doing it now for like purchase price. Yeah, you know, I buy like at $1,000 a room. Yeah, you know, that's purchase price. That's not monthly rent. Like, I'll pay you $1,000 a room.
That's true. And then, so like one other funny thing about that was it was freezing. And
it was a polar vortex. We had a polar vortex in Indiana back in 2018.
I don't even know what that is.
It was like negative 10 degrees plus wind chill. It was like some stupid thing because we're close to the lake.
So then there's water all in the basement, and everybody says don't go into the basement when it's flooded because you might get electrocuted.
That's true.
And I said screw it. I was like, it's worth it.
You put your finger in?
Yeah, I touched the water. And so then, wait, it gets even better. So then I'm like,
why would you do that?
it's all for the YouTube, man.
Well, if you would have filmed it, that would have been great.
Right.
But you didn't. I'm sure you didn't.
Well, I was stepping back too, just in case I did get shocked, and I was hoping that I was going to fall this way. Yeah,
my center of gravity on my butt. You know,
I put my center of gravity back that way, just in case I did.
And even if it was good at that moment, it's not like electricity couldn't happen while you're in it.
Correct. Right. And then after I touch it, Tony takes off his shoes and socks. I can't remember what we were looking for, like a furnace or
a water shut off.
Oh, a water shut off. Yeah, because we're trying
worse.
to get the water. So we're like, all right, where's the water shut off? So Tony doesn't know anything
about anything. I have my general contractor's license, but I can't paint a wall correctly.
Yeah. So he doesn't know. He walked right past it, and he's just down there without his socks and shoes on in freezing cold water, just walking around. Dang. But anyway, we go back up. We're like, hey, I'm sorry, we can't. We
almost died twice for your house. You know, Dakota almost electrocuted himself.
Yeah.
I almost lost both my feet. This house is garbage.
We have frostbite.
I was like, so here's what we need to do, though. I was like, I was thinking 10 before, but obviously the water damage, we don't know how bad it is. We got to get all the water out of the basement. Unfortunately, we're going to be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. She's like, so 5? I was like, I'm thinking 3. And she's like, okay. And so we signed, we did it, and so the funny thing is we ended up putting $27,000 into the house, owned it for $30,000, and it was beautiful, and we were hoping to keep it as a rental, but it was too nice.
We were nuts that we were going to list it for $55,000.
We listed it for $55,000. People thought we were stupid because it's a rough area, and houses don't go for that much. Max, they were thinking it was like $35,000. So anyway, we had an out-of-state buyer offer $52,000 cash. And we just closed it. We probably should have kept his rental too, but we
set
found
the comps for that area.
We actually helped the area go up. But yeah, that was one of our first flips, and just negotiating, a couple of thousands of dollars. We probably, looking back now, we should have just wholesaled it because we could have made. So we made like I think 17,000, 18,000. Yeah. We could have just wholesaled it and made the same amount, but we didn't know anything back then. So we're like, all right, let's flip it. And
we didn't have our own contractors yet.
Yep, yeah, we just figured it out.
They had Tony the GC apparently.
He wasn't a GC.
I wasn't even a GC yet.
You know what's funny about the GC stuff? So I was talking about that at the workshop last week, and I was like, dude, guys, just know your state laws because GC stuff is different every state. I'm like, in Vegas, it's so hard to become a GC. You got to have like 4 years experience. You got to pass this test. They got to do background check, like everything. I'm like, and then there are places like Fort Wayne, Indiana, where literally you just take a test for like an hour and you're in.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, I had to take it twice.
We didn't have to.
Yeah, I failed it the first time, and then I went back. It was a 4-hour test. I failed it the first time, went back the second time, passed it, and then after that, I got to like name some supervisor people.
Yeah.
And then I just named all my guys who actually know how to do the work.
Yeah.
And so now they're authorized under my license to do contractor labor.
Right. And that's what's great. I wish we could do that out here because that would make our lives a lot easier on a lot of things. But
cut your rehab costs way down too.
Yeah, that and just like, whenever we do need to get permits and stuff, we can actually do it and not rely on other people and all this stuff. So
yeah,
you guys are lucky out there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're lucky.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the bad thing is you do find a lot of like bad contractors
and like little to no appreciation.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, you guys, just in a very short amount of time, you guys have how many? You guys have
36.
About 36 rentals. You've got the new office building, the storage units.
Yeah.
What's the future look like?
So our goals from the beginning has always been 80 rentals. So what we're thinking is we'll get 60 commercially, like commercial loans, because right now, like if you pulled either one of our credit scores, then you
wouldn't see any of the properties.
Yeah, you won't see any loans because we're just the personal guarantors on them. So we're thinking is we'll get 60 in the company, and then Tony and I will get our 10, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and then actually get our 30 years at a lower rate. Because right now we're getting like somewhere between 15 and 20 year with like somewhere between 4.5% and 6.5%. So we want to get better terms than that on our 10, but we'll do that later. And then after that, we're actually planning on creating a course here soon to teach other people how to get into rentals, especially in our area, because obviously it's a little bit different everywhere else.
Yeah. We can be the Midwest guys. You got a lot of West Coast guys out
I
here.
know.
You know.
We do have a ton of West Coast. Yeah, go be the cheap Midwest rental guys.
The cheap.
The wet climate where everything's moldy.
Yeah.
And cold.
You got basements, mold,
Yeah.
100-year homes.
Yeah. We do. Yeah, we do have a lot of 100-year homes, but we do go a little bit higher than even 50,000 too. Just so you know, we got some. we have some decent houses too. Everybody. So that's the bad thing about like starting with bandit signs and stuff is that everybody thinks you're lower end then, and everybody
Right.
thinks that we only buy houses down in the bad area. It's like no, we have houses in other areas too.
We get tagged all the time in posts like,
Yes.
hey guys, this looks like something you would buy, and it's like a tear down.
Yeah, they always think that.
Yeah.
So that's the bad
They'll
thing
buy
about
that.
Yeah.
Like Tony and Dakota, dude, they're freaking crazy.
They'll
So
literally buy anything
yeah.
with anything with or without a roof.
That's
Meth house,
exactly.
1 bed, 1 bath.
Yeah.
We actually did buy a meth house one time too. That's a long story, but yeah, I mean that's the bad thing about getting branded like that. Whenever you start off, because we're like we wanted to do something that was so safe that we knew we weren't going to lose money on. When you're buying houses for 10 and less, it was hard for us to lose money on it.
Right.
So, but yeah, then we got branded as that. So then people bring us deals, but like we're like no, like we buy high end stuff
We
too.
buy
Like,
nice stuff too.
yeah,
guys.
like so we flipped one in a decent area and we bought it for 108. We put 45.50 into it, and then we sold it for it listed for 210. It sold for 230. So like we
Nice.
do some like that's high end.
That's high end.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
high end in Fort
Our
Wayne.
average flip right now is like 50 to 55K. So like we're able to buy stuff for
Average
around
profit.
100.
Well,
and
you know
then,
what-
like net average 50.
Well, you know what's funny is we are kind of going through a similar thing where out here in Vegas, I would really only buy the cheaper homes. Like I want cheap entry level homes. Those are for us safer deals, and they always the ones that need a lot of work, right? So kind of same business model, except our cheap homes are. They
300?
were, yeah. Well, now they are. They're now 300. They used to be when I first started 100. Then it became 200, and now it's like our average just keeps going up and up. But now we're starting to do a ton of luxury, which I was always against. I was like, hey, I don't want to do luxury. It's just too much headache. There's more work. There's more customization. There's more risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now in today's market, I'm just like, dude, we got to do it. Because it's just shooting up so fast with all these people. It's like,
Coming over from California.
yeah, because they want a nice, and to them, spending, $1 to $2 million is nothing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, dude, this is like, I'm living in a mansion.
Yep.
And the beauty with the high end luxury stuff is, on our flips, we've been getting like 10% more on our flips. So it's like, man, we thought we were going to make 20, 25. We ended up making 40, 45. And I'm like, this is fantastic. Buy them all.
Yep.
But then I'm looking at the luxury and I'm like, okay, these guys, I was looking at their numbers. They were going to make 100K and they just made 300K.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's just like to shoot up a 200K in luxury is like not that big of a deal.
Yep.
I'm just like, all right, we need to buy us some of them. Like,
that's
What are you
awesome.
doing to get them to appraise?
rich people have the money.
Yeah, that's true.
It is
They come
buy
up
it
with the
cash.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of them are buying
Wow.
it cash or they'll pay above the appraisal.
Right.
Like it's just
Yeah.
that's part of their deal.
That's amazing.
It's not you're not dealing with a lower income person who
makes
doesn't
sense.
have the
That
cash.
does make a lot of sense.
No FHA loans.
There's no FHA loans. Most of it is cash. And so we've bought about 7 over $1 million in the last couple of months because I'm like, I'm all in.
Yep.
We're going to see one of them today.
That's awesome. What have you kind of seen? So like you talked about it being $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 houses, like the entry level. Like, do you see? Because what we've seen in like our city is that a lot of the old time investors are like now they're not buying them because like prices are too high.
I bought
now.
everything for a nickel
So,
back in
and we're seeing
1950.
we're seeing ourselves do that a little bit more now. Where we're like, dude,
Now
we
that
don't-
you're
yeah,
seasoned, you're like, I remember the good old days.
yeah, exactly. And now
we
I
could
feel
buy
like
a house for 25,000.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're buying them for we're offering more than what we would have before when we didn't know because we didn't know. And so how did you guys like have any adjustment periods where like you're like, well, we know what we bought this other property for and we bought it for 100 and then it's slowly going
I
up.
have short-term memory, dude.
Okay.
So like for me, it's funny on this podcast, I've had multiple people that were investing back in 2009, 2010, buying them dirt cheap. And one of the podcasts, for those listening, Troy Kearns' podcast, we'll link to it down below. He was talking about how he was buying at the auction here back in like 2010 or foreclosures and stuff. And he was buying houses for $20,000-$30,000 in Vegas.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And those houses are now worth, $250, $300, right? 10x.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was buying them for 20, 30 grand, right? And everybody told him he was crazy. They're like, you're crazy. The market's crashing. And he's like, how can it crash? It's $20,000, $30,000. Like, what is going to happen?
Yep.
So then he saw prices going up, and eventually those became 70, 80,000. He stopped buying because he's like, what you're saying,
Getting too risky.
he's like, dude, this is getting out of control.
Yeah.
This was $25,000,
Yep.
like 80,000. You guys are crazy.
Yep.
And he's like, on the podcast, he was like, yeah, obviously I was wrong, just like everyone else. And if he would have just kept buying them at 80, So I guess my point is, looking at history, I say, you know what? As a flipper, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm in and out within 4 months anyway.
Yeah.
The market ain't shifting all of a sudden. Like, if I'm buying it discounted, I don't care if that house sold for $100 grand less a year ago, because I'm flipping it. Now, as a buy and hold guy, you got to make the decision of, hey, do I see prices staying here? Do I see rents increasing with this price? Like, what's going on here? So it depends on your exit.
If he would have kept everything, though, that would be a crazy HELOC.
No, but he did keep a lot. He kept.
Oh, that's
he bought
awesome.
like, I forgot what it was on the pot. He bought like 100 of them.
100
Cash.
for 20?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
he made a killing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does he still have them?
he has some of them.
Wow. Is rentals?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He wasn't a flipper. He kept them all.
So now we just got to turn Fort Wayne into Vegas. That's what we got to do.
We need these houses to be
Yes.
worth $200,000-$300,000.
Yes, that's exactly what we need.
Our city's doing okay. The population is bumping up a little bit. We got some of those scooters,
Hey, let's just start a rumor on the show. Like, I heard, Apple's coming to town.
Yeah. I heard Amazon actually is. Amazon's supposed to be coming to Fort Wayne.
Well,
It is.
Amazon's everywhere.
That's true.
They
a
need
good
a
point.
warehouse in every city.
So we need Apple.
We need tech. We need like some
Okay.
Techie.
Yeah, I heard
company.
Elon Musk, his next Tesla factory's out there. He's building the Cybertruck. It's not Austin, Texas. Don't believe him.
Yeah, I would say he's coming out there to test out the cold because Texas wasn't cold enough for him.
He's got to make sure electricity works in cold. So,
Yep.
well, cool guys. Dude, it's been a blast having you guys on. I love having you guys in the program, and you guys are changing a lot of lives. Not only in the program, but like I said, for all the content you guys are making. People, whether you know it or not, are being impacted by it, and I'm excited just to see you guys continue to grow, man.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, so we'll link to all their info down below, guys, so you guys can go follow them and continue to watch them on their journey. And if you have a house in Fort Wayne, whether it be cheap or expensive, they will buy both. Okay, hit these guys up. So we'll link to their stuff down below, and make sure you're subscribed to this podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace out.
Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.